In this lesson, we'll cover system ducts. Looking at your Revit model right now, you can see in blue we have an HVAC duct system. On the very right, you have a green line. Move my mouse over that green line. This green line actually represents a placeholder duct or duct placeholder system. Basically, it's the same thing, except it's only being represented by a single line. Typically, it's used in conceptual design if you're just conceptually laying out that duct arrangement or that duct line. It still does connect to your diffusers and your air handling units. But the difference is it doesn't have justification values, simply because it's just a line. It also lacks information for insulation or lining, whereas a regular duct would have that information. But as far as placement, if I'm manually clicking points, it is placed the same way as a regular duct. So in this lesson here, we're going to look at placing a regular duct from a diffuser to our air handling unit. And we'll use those symbols on our very left. So to place our duct, let's go to the Systems tab, and then on the left in the HVAC panel, click Duct. When you start the duct command, in the first area on the left in Properties, this is where you can choose the type of duct that you want to place. For this example here, we're just going to use the mitered elbows taps duct. These are the ducts that are currently loaded into this Revit project. I can always load more in if I need to. Note, the placeholder duct displays the same information in the properties as far as what type of duct you want to place. Now, you could choose anything from oval-shaped ducts, round ducts, rectangular ducts. Just all depends, again, on what you have loaded in your system. Now, with that selected, before I click anything, I want to verify a few things. First, my width and my height of the actual duct itself. And then also, I'd like to place the offset from the current level that this is bound to. Right now, it's bound to level 1. If I had the offset set at 0, the duct would basically go from each of these units, the air handling unit and the diffuser, all the way down to the ground and then up to where these two units sat or hung from the ceiling. However, I want this to be up there in line with those, so I'm going to set my height at roughly 2,800 millimeters or 9 feet above level 1. Now, with those values set, I'm ready to start my duct run. To do that, simply move over one of the ends of the actual diffuser. In this case, I'm going to go to the top of the diffuser on the very bottom of your screen. When you hover over it, you should see a point icon for a connector appear. When you see that appear, go ahead and left click on that, and then start to drag your mouse. Now, based on the duct type and the connector type, the duct will size appropriately, and you'll see that duct being pulled apart or pulled away from that point on the diffuser. Now simply move your mouse up to where it should connect on the air handling unit. That's the item in yellow. You'll see the same symbol appear again for the point in the connector. When you see that same symbol, left click. What Revit will then do is calculate this duct run from the first point to the second point, applying the appropriate angles based on the default settings that you set up or originally had set up in your mechanical system settings. So again, that's why it's important before laying out any piece of duct work or any air handling unit or plumbing unit or piping unit to verify you have your mechanical settings correctly set. So basically, I just drew a piece of duct or a duct run. Now, I can continue to do this, but right now at this point, I'm done for this example, so click Modify on the toolbar in the upper left. So this created that duct from the actual diffuser back to the air handling unit. Now, one thing I want to note about the placeholder duct on the right, you can also create a duct run from it, or you can convert it. For example, I can choose each piece of this placeholder duct individually, or I could choose to window in parts of this actual placeholder duct. When I window those in or manually select those, on the ribbon in the upper right, you'll have an option for Convert Placeholder. When you select Convert Placeholder, it will convert those placeholder lines that you select, either individually or by windowing them in. It'll convert those elements into their appropriate regular duct. And again, I could do these one at a time, or I can do them all at once. And then it would convert those into really the same thing that I created on the left. But again, the actual placeholder duct is used for conceptual design, where your regular duct is used more for actual design when you know that information and where I need to place it. Now, to look at the properties of the duct itself, go ahead and click on any piece of the actual duct work. When you do click on it, you actually see the dimensional values and the connection points, and those are actually determined or placed based on your horizontal and vertical justification settings in the constraints of the properties on the left. Those two values, the horizontal and the vertical justification values, are not present in placeholder ducts. Also, you have a variety of other information for the ducts on how they're connected, how they go together, and how they're aligned or connected to the other handling units or diffusers. Go ahead and click in the background to deselect anything. So as a review in this lesson, we looked at how to create a regular duct run. We looked at, first of all, starting the duct command from the Systems tab, choosing the correct duct type to use, and setting values for the duct such as offset from the level it's associated or hosted with. We then used the manual method of clicking points, but automatically connecting those points from our diffuser to our actual air handling unit. We also looked at how to convert a placeholder duct line into a regular duct. And lastly, we looked at the properties of the duct and how their alignment values are set, and the other properties listed for the duct and how it differs from a placeholder duct.